I'm your host, Davida Shinsky, and you're listening to Live Without Limits, Dreams Come True with the Right Mindset. And today we're talking about 4 scientific reasons why moving your body boosts your mental state. Mental health, mental illness, these were always hidden subjects for so many years that it is important to understand exactly how your mental health is reflected in your your outside world, as well as what goes on inside you. Your mental health and physical health don't exist in separate bubbles. In reality, they exist more like a Venn diagram. For example, you might exercise for your physical health, yet this inevitably spills over and improves your mental health as well. Hello, feel good endorphins. Like personal relationships, your mental and physical health is a two-way street. Exercise impacts your mood, and your mood impacts whether or not you take care of your physical body. In other words, movement is just as much part of mental health strategy as it is a physical health strategy. So, let's dive into this topic a little bit more. Why and how does moving your body elevate your mental state? The 21st century mental health problem that really and truly 40, 50 years ago, when the mental health, I want to say program, but when the topic around mental health actually started to grow, it was also a hidden issue of what was going on within the family and how it was affecting you and your relationships. So, the 21st century mental health problem. The World Health Organization states that there was a 13% rise in mental health issues and substance abuse disorders from 2007 to 2017. In fact, about 20% of the world's population struggles with their mental health, and that's only what is reported. These numbers don't take into account the many silent mental health sufferers worldwide. If anything, we need movement now more than ever. Along with those statistics, it's undeniable that sedentary jobs and general behavior are on the rise. As technology takes over more labor intensive jobs, we spend more time sitting than ever before. This problematic, especially when it comes to our mental health, or more on this later. The human body needs movement to function optimally. Unfortunately, our physical bodies have not quite evolved at the same pace as technology. This means we have to be intentional when it comes to incorporating movement into our everyday lives. How does movement elevate your mental state? You've probably heard the same old song and danced before. Regular exercise significantly decreases your risk of depression and anxiety, as well as reduces stress, improves mood, and enhances cognitive functioning. Okay, but how? Let's examine this in a little more detail. Exercise literally increases your brain's size. There's a ton of research that supports movement, increasing the size of the brain. In fact, when you move, you stimulate the brain driven neurotropic factor. This actually encourages the growth of new neural connections and enhances the health of already existing neurons. In other words, when you move your body, your brain kicks into gear, creating new connections and boosting the health of what is already there. Exercise improves your memory recall. Cognitive decline tends to naturally occur as we age. However, it doesn't necessarily have to. There's plenty of stories where individuals have maintained their cognitive sharpness until their last days. In fact, studies demonstrate how exercising just twice a week can decrease memory loss and improve overall brain functionality. It's theorized that exercise does this by increasing blood circulation to the brain, which offers up more oxygen and nutrients, helping your brain do what it does best. Exercise enhances sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're likely familiar with dreaded brain fog, fatigue, and more that haunts you as you attempt to go about your day. Sleep is essential for the restoration and repair of the body's tissues and system. A lack of sleep is actually associated with increased anxiety and depression. Experts have shown numerous times how even just 30 minutes of physical activity a day can improve a person's sleep that night. This helps them obtain that restorative sleep that the body desperately needs. Thus, exercise might be what you need to counterbalance any increased anxiety, stress, or low moods as late. Exercise improves your mood. Typically, you leave an exercise session feeling empowered and elevated. This in itself is a surefire sign that exercise and mental health are intricately linked. But what's going on beneath the surface? When you exercise, your body releases endorphins. These endorphins reduce your pain perception by interacting with certain receptors in the brain. In addition to this, endorphins elevate mood. This is the reason you feel so good after an exercise session. For example, endorphins are the chemicals individuals are referring to when they talk about the runner's high. These changes also help combat stress by reducing the stress hormones cortisol. Research further shows that exercise, including team sports, drastically reduces an adolescent's risk for depression. In other words, exercise is the important part of living a full and healthy life in today's world. Finding the right form of exercise for you. Despite all the recommendations out there in terms of the right type of exercise. The best physical activity is one that works for you and your life. And ideally, it's something that you like to participate in on a regular basis. For different people, this could mean different activities. The ultimate goal is to find something that you can do a couple of times a week. Some examples include walking, dancing, weightlifting, yoga, biking or spinning, swimming, and workout classes. Tai Chi. And a quick note here, you might need to try a few activities before you find one that clicks. Just because you don't like yoga, before you find one that, excuse me, if just because you don't like yoga, it doesn't mean that there isn't many other activities that you can try. So get moving for your mental health. While you might not be motivated, a little movement might be just what the doctor ordered. Motivation aside, there are countless reasons to move your body. Joining workout classes can even foster a sense of community and belonging. This could open up a whole new world to you and your life. Pencil a little more movement into your calendar. You likely won't regret it, and you'll probably feel better and pretty good afterward. Give your body and your mental health exactly what they need. Your body was made for it. As Nelson Mandela stated, exercise is the key to not only physical health, but the peace of mind. And for many of us, exercise is so important. And one thing that I found was back in the 80s, as the health clubs started to come and be established and turn a form gripping, because many years ago, when I was a teenager, I went through surgery and they sent me for physical therapy. And at that time, physical therapy was just moving blocks from one place to another. Now, my fingers will never work any better than this, but if I can get on something where I'm rowing and pulling it forward and stretching, then I'm stretching in the tendons and right here. And what is that doing? That's giving me a little bit more mobility, and it means I get a little bit more movement. So I had to learn for myself what worked for me, and I continue to do it and have done it for nearly 40 years. And because of that, not only is my mental attitude where it should be, and I've overcome many obstacles, but I've learned how important that exercise is for me. Walking is good, but in the past, before the health clubs became very popular, you had that older generation that many of them did a lot of walking, but they never worked on strengthening their muscles. And so what happened, even though they walked, they still eventually ended up in wheelchairs or on walkers. And if you've exercised on a regular basis, then it gives you that mobility and opportunity to build that strength. So as you age, you're able to still be active. And that's what's so important in living a long life and having the lifespan that you were meant to have.